Thank you. Thanks for coming. This is great. I don't do well behind a podium or behind a stand microphone, so please endure. If I walk around and just shout, then I think you can all hear me. But thank you so much for coming today. It's a great day. It's a great day to be a Bronco, right? Samantha Everts told me that I'm on the clock, but I told her don't start it till I'm done. You know, for over 20 years, we've been talking about the potential of doing what it is that we're doing now. And there were a lot of good people gathered around the table at that time. And some of those people are here. Ken Miller, sitting right here, was instrumental. And that was back in the days when Ken had a bullseye target on his back. And as he walked around, he was collecting a lot of arrows in that bullseye target, and undeserved, but he was strong in his conviction. He loves Kalamazoo, and he loves people that love Kalamazoo. And he was a strong catalyst for that. And my good friend Jerry Vanderbean is here. Jerry, raise your hand. Where are you at? You had a seat up here, but you want to stand in the sun, that's okay. And Jerry was one of that group, and we used to gather around the breakfast and sometimes lunch table talking about this, along with Steve East. I saw Steve right here. Give Steve a round of applause, too. When we talk about graduation race for college students, we just tell them sometimes you have to have persistence. And so the old guys had persistence, and somehow we made it here. And so 20 years in the making, you know. And what I want to tell you is 20 years ago, we were talking about building an arena, but we're not building just an arena now. We are building a true community event center, an athletic performance center that happens to have an arena in it, and 30,000 square feet of flat floor space that will be used by the community as well. The Athletic Performance Center is new and unique, and there aren't very many Division I universities that have an Athletic Performance Center. I want to take just a couple of minutes to tell you what differentiates the place that we're building here. We are relocating the men's and women's basketball program along with our national championship hockey program. If you're ever given a speech, just say that and you'll get applause. Right, Coach? Coach got lots of applause last night at Drive for Life. Did a wonderful job in presenting. We thank you for that. An athletic performance center takes a holistic view of athletes. And so we're not just talking about a place to practice, we're talking about a place to practice and prepare for life. We're talking about an opportunity to bring academics to the athletic field, to the athletic court, to the ice. We're talking about nutrition, a high-performance center that has all of the capacity and all of the training opportunities to do just exactly that. So it's not just an arena with a court to play on, it's an athletic performance center attached to an arena that has 2 basketball practice courts, locker rooms, training facilities, medical training facilities, academic facilities, and nutrition facilities. And so our men's and women's basketball program and hockey program will have the advantage of that. And they'll be coming here, many of them, 365 days a year. We are relocating that from campus. And the K-Wings, our ECHL hockey franchise, will be joining them in very similar facilities. And so we are absolutely thrilled, because what that means is there's going to be about 105 athletic events in this facility that we're building annually, combined with the other 120 events in there. That's 232 events. What's the impact of that on the community? That's about 700,000 people that will be in attendance in one form or another annually in this facility. We're using a distributive parking model What that means is, yes, we are building a parking deck, but that parking deck only is adequate for about 1/4 of what we need. Well, why would we do that? We're doing that because we want every one of those guests, every one of those fans, everybody that's coming to the Kalamazoo Event Center, we want to make certain that they have an opportunity to interact with the rest of our downtown, with the rest of the parking structures. We want them to journey here, stay here, and then, after a while, go home. But not after a while. So we're using that distributive parking model. You know, I am a big fan of collective wisdom. I never think that I have the best ideas, but I think if I get enough smart people around me, we're going to come up with some pretty good ideas. And we've had a lot of partners around that table. And I want to take some time to raise up who those partners were. And what I told these partners as we gathered them from the concept of what we're building and selecting those partners, I said, you have to commit to being here from the beginning to the end. You can't leave me in mid-stride. You're going to have to be with me till the end. And I tell you, this group of partners, not only did they have the really fabulous collective wisdom, but they've been here from the beginning to the end. Every meeting that we have had. You know, when you build big stuff, when you build big, complicated stuff, you start with a concept and then you go to a concept design, then you develop that design, then eventually, when that's developed enough, you get the construction documents, and then those construction documents have to have your site plan approval, and then eventually you get in the ground. But that requires tons of meetings, absolute tons of meetings. And I want to express my appreciation to the partners that we assembled and raise them up for you. And I'll go through those, and then we can give them a great, big, well-deserved round of applause. So first of all, that very first partner could not have done this, but for that partner is my beautiful bride queen, Rhonda. Yeah. And when I suggested to her about this project that I wanted to do, she said, "Do you know how old you are?" Yeah, I'm as old as dirt, but she consented to be my partner, and she has been every step of the way. And then, of course, Catalyst Development, our real estate arm, and Greenleaf Capital, financing arm for all of the Greenleaf companies. Western Michigan University, Rossetti, design firm, Tower Pinkster, architectural and design firm, CSM, Barton Mallow, Hurley Stewart, Rockford, the city of Kalamazoo. And I want to tell you, the city of Kalamazoo has been a very, very good partner. You want to have an interesting meeting, have the meeting with the city manager and the city planners and tell them that you want to put 450,000 square feet of building down in the middle of downtown Kalamazoo. That's an interesting start. But I will tell you that they have been solid partners with us. And we're thankful of that. And Southwest Michigan first. We start every meeting, of course, with a mission and vision. We do that in the Greenleaf companies, and we do it with everything that we build as well. And we have to be disciplined in that mission and vision. You can't let up on that. And what we started every meeting with was an affirmation that each one of us raised our hand to in the beginning, and that is we looked at this as a once in a 100-year opportunity. And as that, we were stewards of that. And we had to build something that would stand the test of time, that it would have a Western Michigan University brand and a Kalamazoo identity at the same time. The best of the best quality. So we began this journey by going and seeing the best. And the idea behind that is to gather more collective wisdom. Go around the country, see the best. See what has been built by people that thought they did the best. And go there and pick their brains and look at their product and ask them questions. and see where they stubbed their toe so that we didn't have to. And as we did that, and we would be gathering back on the bus back to the airport, and I would, and those that were with us knew this, I would gather them and I would say, that was pretty nice, wasn't it? No, yeah, that was nice. Mm-hmm. What didn't you like? Well, I didn't like that. Okay. I said, you know what? That's perceived to be the best of the best, but we're going to do better than that. We can do better than that. We're not going to make those same mistakes. That was very, very helpful to us. The best of the best in terms of quality. We want to be in the hearts and the minds of all of our fans, of all of our guests, everybody attending any event at our event center. We want to be there even before they come to the decision that they're coming. We want to be in their mind. And in order to earn that honor, we have to deliver the very best. Tim mentioned we want to be the host of Kalamazoo. We want to deliver hospitality experiences that anticipate the wants, needs, and desires of those people that will be coming to the arena. And then we want to deliver on those wants, needs, and the desires at a level that is a wow experience each and every time. Every time, every experience, without exception. And when you think about all of the opportunities you have, if 720,000 people are coming here in a year, and they have various opportunities to interchange, it becomes millions of opportunities to wow and millions of opportunities to disappoint. But one of the things that drives my optimism is that Greenleaf Hospitality Group has been delivering wow experiences for hundreds of thousands of people annually. It's what we do. And so we're convinced and we're confident in our ability to do that. Unyieldingly high standards, and the partners, as I said, have stayed. And I want to take a moment now. Let's go ahead and give those partners a round of applause. But you know, back in the original concept, when we were just thinking about doing this, there were people involved in that thinking of doing this. And I want to call out these people because it never could have been done without them. And Rhonda is certainly one of those. And with me every step of the way. And enabling me to do that work every step of the way and encouraging me. So thank you very much. There's more to do. We're not done yet. There's more to do. And my extremely capable assistant who makes me better than I am. You know, it's one thing to have concepts, but those concepts actually have to turn into work. They actually have to turn into execution. And Darla Barberini has been at my side through all of that for the past 25 years, doing exactly that. When we started this project, we knew it was big. We knew it would involve a lot of partners. It would involve a lot of execution. And so we didn't create the product, but we used the product. And essentially, it was a software product. But what we said to every partner, if it's not in there, it didn't happen. And every meeting, after every meeting, everybody, if there was any exchange between anybody, it went into that product. So if we had any question about anything, we could go back to that product. We could recall that product. And Darla was the person that had to wrap knuckles on that throughout this entire 2-year process up to this point. And so, Darla, I thank you for enduring all of that, enduring that 25 years too. But that's the thing that makes me able to do what I do. And then Mike Elliston, CFO of the Greenleaf companies, and including Greenleaf Capital and Catalyst. And Mike was out there. Mike, raise your hand. Where are you at? Right there? Yeah. He's kind of the sleuth. He's out there acquiring properties in other company names and things like that, so people don't quite know who it was. And that was a real challenge because the site that we're on was owned by other people, and that was owned by other people too. So Mike was very instrumental in doing that. And he's a great, there's nobody better at financial planning, financial management. Mike never gets upset. He's a great negotiator because his face never changes. And I've seen people change their number right across the desk from him because he just didn't say anything. He just looked at him like, surely you had a better number. And Pete Mitchell, who is our owner's rep. Where is Pete? Right. As you can imagine, with hundreds of people on the job site every day and transforming documents to building, there's 1,000 questions that have to be answered every day. And there's 1,000 ways that the owner has to be represented. And honest and honorable has to be in that equation. And Pete Mitchell has not only the experience in building big, tough stuff, but he has the experience in representing owners building big, tough stuff. And then working through all of the landmines that are associated with that. And as you might imagine, there's regulation that goes into this. And Pete is just absolutely fabulous at doing this. Thank you, Pete. One of my best friends, Brad Vandenberg, who is the president of Kalamazoo Wings, has been with me before this even started in terms of the concept. He'd be with me when we were fishing or playing golf, talking about the concept. And he's been at that table every day, too. And with that wisdom that he has, with that good common sense that he has, with the experience of professional sports and athletics that he has, and the experience of great hospitality that he has. And Brad, thank you for being there. Makes a huge difference. And he's not only was there, he is there, and he's going to continue to be there because he's not done yet either. One of the best young executives that I've ever had the opportunity to work with, who leads Greenleaf Hospitality Group, Tim Raymond. He's got the great opportunity of now having his company double in size. And that's double in size of transactions, double in size of dollar volume, double in size of numbers of guests, customers, members, and also employees. So he's leading Greenleaf Hospitality Group as CEO of Greenleaf Hospitality Group, a company that's doubling in size in so many ways. Tim has been at that table. His team has been at that table. He's been leading a great team. He's preparing that team to grow. And I have all the confidence in the world that everything that I said about the wow moments every time, without exception, I can say that with confidence. That's not, I don't worry about that stuff at all. And I don't worry about that because of Tim Raymond. I had the opportunity to be a part of a search committee that was searching for the new athletic director at Western Michigan University. And it was a great search process, and we had 10 candidates presented to us that I just thought were really, really good. DHR was the company advising us on that, and Glenn, the head of it, and I were having dinner one night, and I said, man, Glenn, you have really brought us some great candidates. He said, yeah. He said, but you haven't seen the best one yet. He backloaded Dan. Dan was the last one to present. And when Dan presented, I knew why Glenn had put Dan in that top spot. And I think all of you have witnessed it too. In the short term that Dan has been the athletic director here at Western Michigan University, He has taken us to a new place. And he's not done yet either. But when I engaged Dan in his very first weeks as the athletic director about this project, and I suggested to him that this has to be a Western Michigan University branded product. This, if we're going to do this, if it's just an arena, I'm not interested. But if it's an athletic performance center and an arena and a community event center, then that's got my interest. Dan was all in from the very beginning. Yeah, a lot of questions, but they were good questions, and that's what made his seat at that table, that collective wisdom, so hugely valuable. And Dan wasn't there alone. He was there with each of his coaches, and he was there with all of his support team, which is a great support team too. So thank you, Dan. So now let's give them all a... We have some giants in their field. They've earned it with the pedigree of their work. And so one of those persons who has been a talented designer and architect and has worked with me over the last 20 years on projects that we have built in Kalamazoo and in other places, Jason Novotny. Jason, sitting right up here, really talented. And Jason will tell you most of the time when he makes the first presentation, I said, yeah, that's great, let's build it. This was a little bit different, but also want to call out Tony Reiner. Tony was here from the very beginning, very talented, very challenging, talented. When I say challenging, I'm talking about not in difficult to work with, but challenging. He'll call you out on a bad idea. Why would we do that? But he got the concept. The concept was Western Michigan University brand, Kalamazoo identity, and the research that Tony and his team did. What were the materials that built Kalamazoo? What were the kinds of aggregates, and what did those look like? And going back and deep into history and looking at the history of Kalamazoo and all of the companies that have been here, saying, how can we bring that to the design of this? You know, if you go in a lot of cities and you see arenas, they just look like blobs, right? We didn't want to build a blob. A blob doesn't play well with its neighbors. What we wanted to do was to have identity in each part. So the arena has identity, the practice facilities, the athletic performance center has identities, the ice has an identity, the community events center space has an identity. And you'll see that as the building goes up. You see it in the renderings that we have had for a long time. And Tony really is the architectural genius behind that. Tony, thank you. Thank you for that. And this kind of stuff is not for amateurs, and you've got to have all-stars. You've got to have people that have done it. You've got to have people that really know how to build big, tough, complicated stuff. And Brian Beaver and Sean Hollister from CSM and also from Barton Mallow. Are Brian and there you are. Thank you. Thank you. These guys are still on the job every day, and they're really giants in their industry, extremely well respected for what they've done. And then Stuart Mason, Steve East from CSM, thank you so much. And Todd, thank you so much for being there from the very beginning and bringing your capable team that you have built over the years. We've done a lot of work together, and there wasn't any doubt we were going to do this together too. But thank you very much. Bjorn Green. As you can imagine, there's more than just designing. You have to get to the production of those documents. You have to lead that huge team to do that, and stuff has to be on time so bids can be let and site plans can be approved. And Bjorn, very steadfast in his leadership of Tower Pinkster. Steve Loney and Amy Picanto. That's all right, I already said it. But thanks, Coach. He still moves pretty quick. Yeah. Steve Looney and Amy Pancanto from Tower Pinkster getting all of the tough stuff done and getting it done. They're both the kind of people that if you say you're going to do it, they believe it. But if you hadn't done it in the time period, then they'll say, where is it? And they follow up on it, and they hold people accountable for that work. And that was hugely responsible. So the mission and vision is still before us. 24 months from now, we're going to be having another celebration. That's when we cut the ribbon. And I always like to publish those dates, especially when the contractors are present. I think it's an appropriate reminder. So we have 24 months before we cut that ribbon, and we're going to cut it, and it's going to be on time. And then it's going to be another celebration, and it's going to be a fabulous celebration. So now, Samantha, you can start the clock, and we'll hear from some other important people here. But I just want to express my appreciation to each and every one of you for sharing your time with us here collectively today. It is a great day to be a Bronco. It is a great day to be in Kalamazoo. We've got work to do, but we love doing the work, and we're up for the challenge. Thank you very much.